Hey guys, welcome to Movie Reviews with Sam and Caroline. We're going to talk about some of the movies we saw recently and discuss what they're all about.
So we're going to start off with Carrie. We're going to talk about the new one that just came out. But I'm going to reference the old one. I'm going to start off by referencing the old one. First of all, it is a remake, for those of you that don't know, of a film done, I don't know exactly what year, but it was sometime in the 70s, starring Sissy Spacek as Carrie. And the whole point of Carrie is that this girl is sort of an outcast. She's kind of weird looking. Her mom is insane. But they cast Chloe Grace Moretz as Carrie, who is beautiful, and, you know,
It didn't work.
No. Why don't you take this one?
Yeah, so it was pretty much like exactly like the old ones, because like there was just nothing to remake about it. Like they didn't do anything different. The old one was actually probably better, to be honest about it. And I don't know, it just wasn't. You could just watch the old one because you probably have it at your house already. Like, I don't know.
There's no point. I really don't even know why they remade it. Although I was very excited to see Julianne Moore play the mom because she did a great job, sure, but there was nothing new at all.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Don't see that.
Yeah, no. Okay, next on the list, just let me. Gravity. Gravity was nominated for a Golden Globe. Alfonso Cuarón won Best Director. However, the movie was
Yeah, the plotline was pretty lame. Nothing really happened. It's just a bunch of people kind of like flying around.
Correction. 2 people, and then after the first half hour, probably not even, just 1 person.
Yeah, and it was like the person like you actually liked, and he died.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. George Clooney dies. However, that happens in the first half hour or something, whatever. And you could have guessed that from the trailer anyway. But I was so mad. George Clooney was the life of that film.
Yeah,
and then
he really was.
There's a dream sequence where he comes back, and it wouldn't logically make sense that he would be able to get in the spaceship from outside without killing everybody it's Sandra Bullock, without killing Sandra Bullock in the container with, I don't know, space rocket area. But I didn't care. I completely looked over this because I wanted to believe that he was alive again.
He's a beautiful man.
When she woke up from that dream, I almost cried. It was really upsetting.
She was just so depressing. And I just didn't like her character. Nothing really happened. The visuals were great.
That being said,
it was wonderful. But I don't know. Plotline.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The way they filmed it was great. There was some great suspense, but it's sort of like a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
So,
I saw it I didn't see it in 3D. I saw it in non-3D, but it still made you dizzy watching it. When they're spinning in space and stuff, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's probably worth it for the first half hour. Once George Clooney floats away, you can turn it off.
Just leave.
Just leave.
Just walk out.
All right, let's talk about Thor.
Thor, you can start.
Thor. We're going to talk about the second Thor. So, what was the second Thor's name? Well, I know that they were talking about the ether. I don't think that was in the title, but the whole point of Thor 2 is that they have this sort of element that is super powerful, and they're trying to stop this guy from getting the element. But the main point that everybody goes to see the Thor films are, if you like Chris Hemsworth, and there's the gratuitous shot of him just shirtless. It's completely, there's no point. But, that's all right because it's usually the girl that has that shot. And in this case, Natalie Portman's a scientist. And even though I don't like Natalie Portman, her character is pretty cool, I guess. But the main point is Loki. Everybody knows it's the main point. Why don't you begin before I take over this entire thing?
Yeah. Loki's pretty awesome, actually. In the first one, you don't get to see as much about him, and then you watch the Avengers, and they just keep building his character. And so Thor 2 is just kind of, it's really funny, too. There's a lot of jokes that, because I think I saw it twice, and they're still funny the second time. So it's not just you laugh once, haha, that's kind of funny. It's still good.
I remember the title. It's The Dark World.
Dark World.
Yeah. So yeah, Loki in the first one, I fell in love with him in the first one because he's very sad and mischievous. He is the god of mischief, so he's not really a good guy. He's the main villain in the Avengers, but there's lots of theories about that because he wasn't really himself. Won't get into that on this show, but in this new one, God, they characterized him perfectly. The character development is number one in this film, even from Thor. If you look at the first Thor movie, Thor was such a butt in the first Thor movie. He was awful, and that's pretty much why I was rooting for Loki since the beginning. But in the new Thor, he's like a really good guy.
Yeah, you almost like him better than Thor because Thor just kind of doesn't really have a personality.
No, I was just talking about Thor, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, way to pay attention, Sam.
I was talking
Way to pay
about
attention.
Loki, but...
Well, I love Loki from the beginning.
Well, obviously.
The character development on his end is also really good because I think they stay really true to what he represents, whereas he's like, you want to root for him, even Thor's like, I wish I could trust you, brother.
Yeah.
And you can't, because he's the god of mischief.
Yeah.
You cannot trust him, but he's awesome in that sense.
True.
Can't wait for what's Avengers 2.
Yeah,
Wow, that was
2.
jumping ahead.
Definitely.
I think that's next year.
Yeah.
All right, next, Pacific Rim.
Ooh.
Take this one.
All right. So first of all, seeing the trailer for Pacific Rim, me and my friend thought it was going to be the worst movie we've ever seen. We were actually making fun of it for months before it came out. So I'm like, oh, I have to see this. Like, I just want to see how bad it is. It was so good. It wasn't like the stupid action sci-fi movie you like expect it to be. It was actually had a good storyline. It was actually really entertaining. And
I really liked, they did, like, because it sounds stupid. Every time I recommended it to somebody, I was like, oh, what's it about? I'm like, oh, well, it's, there's some giant monsters that come out from the center of the earth that are also aliens.
Yeah.
And so to combat them, we built enormous robots. And so that sounds like, Oscar winner picture right there. But the robots are piloted by 2 people because you can't take it all on one brain because it would like mess you up. So it's about like relationship building. And
there's a cool backstory behind it too. Like they show how like all the people like became who they were kind of thing, which is like really interesting, and it like kind of carries the movie.
And Idris Elba, and that's really all that you need for a movie. Idris Elba. Some great quotes, great action sequences. Even though I'm not even an action sequence fan, but they were good.
You didn't get bored at the end. Half the time, like action movies, you're like, oh, like chase fight scene, but it was actually interesting, and you weren't just sitting there like wishing you could leave. So there's always that.
The only downside is a lot of the characters are dead by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's just everybody dies. You're fighting giant sea monsters. What are you gonna do? The kaiju.
The kaiju.
District 9. Am I going to start this one?
Yeah, you can start.
All right. District 9 was made by the same guy who made the more recent film Elysium. It's about, in the future, in South Africa, there are an alien bug type race that like came down, and they are sort of ghettoed in District 9 of the city. What's that city in South Africa? I'm forgetting the name, but it's the big one.
I've never seen parts of this movie.
And anyway, so, right, District 9. They're in District 9, and basically they're, the humans are very prejudiced against these aliens. And nobody knows what they want, really, and because they speak this language that sounds like, that's pretty much what it sounds like. And then all of a sudden you have your main character guy sort of like, they go into District 9 and he like grabs something and it sort of like gets infected. So he's like sort of, I don't want to give it away or anything, but he's sort of infected with this weird thing, and so he's like falling apart, and at the same time he's learning more about these aliens, and it's actually really good. It's set up like a fake documentary, which is an interesting way to do things, and I just think it's really cool. What do you have to say about it, Sam?
I've only seen parts of it, but I've seen the entire Elysium movie, which is kind of like, it's pretty much the same type setting. They're like in the ghetto and everything, except it's like it's all about the humans, like the wealthy ones are all on a different planet, Elysium, and the poor ones are all stuck pretty much down here in like a ghetto, and this guy's trying to get out kind of thing. So it's the same kind of type of movie. It's probably why, because it has the same director.
Yeah, that one has Matt Damon and Jodie Foster. It was pretty good, but I prefer District 9 if you're going to pick one of those.
I gotta watch the full movie sometime.
Yeah, defo. Okay, moving on. Iron Man. Now the third one just came out.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about that one?
Sure. Well, Iron Man's awesome anyways because he's super funny and he's just crazy. And
Tell us about the movie, Sam.
He's my favorite superhero, so there's always that. You can.
Oh, okay. Am I taking this one too? All right. Well, Iron Man 3 this time meets Tony Stark as he's working on improving the Iron Man suit. And as it turns out, ever since New York, as they refer to it in the film, it's the Avengers, the big climax of the Avengers. Ever since then, when Tony Stark sort of like fell through an alien dimension pretty much, he's been having panic attacks, and so he's like, oh my god, I gotta work on my suits to make everybody safe. So, but the things are that now the suit, he's like can control the suit when he's not in it, and it's like freaking out Gwyneth Paltrow.
I hate Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah. Meantime, you've got the Mandarin, who's
the best part.
Don't give it away. There is a plot twist.
It's so good.
The Mandarin is working. He's like pretty much a terrorist. Not pretty much. He is a terrorist.
Kind of. A little bit.
And so there's that he's got to look out for. Plus, he's got this pretty hot guy from his past has now shown up and is like he feels threatened because of Gwyneth Paltrow. It's like they used to go out or something.
And let's just say the beginning of this movie is amazing because they start off with that song by like Eiffel 65 from like forever ago. And
the blue one?
Yeah.
Blue.
It's awesome. I don't know. It's awesome.
It's really good. So there's plot twists. Plus you get Rhodey, the sidekick is like super awesome. He's the best. Don Cheadle, the best. So that's good. But the ending, not giving anything away, sort of, it's controversial because it sort of closed off things. However, there's going to be the Avengers too, so nobody really knows what's happening.
Something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen.
Something's definitely going to happen.
Oh, yeah. So, there's that.
Yeah, there's that.
Okay, let's talk about Star Trek. You can start here.
Okay. Star Trek. Well, they had a really cool villain in it. I forget his name. Do you remember his name?
Well, I don't know if this counts as a spoiler. I'm going to say spoiler alert if you don't know the villain of the second Star Trek. It's Khan.
Oh, yeah, that's his name. But he's really, really cool. He's like kind of tricks everyone, kind of keeps you guessing the whole movie. So, and no. Yeah.
Okay, so I saw this movie 6 times in the theater. Seen it like twice on DVD.
My God.
So I can talk about this movie for forever. I love Star Trek. I love all the aliens and everything. In this one, you've got, they call him John Harrison. That's who Khan is. It's Benedict Cumberbatch, who everybody loves from Sherlock. He's doing a great job, you know. I'm not Benedict Cumberbatch's #1 fan, but can't deny that he's a great actor. We've got Chris Pine as Captain Kirk, Zachary Quinto as Spock. Zoe Saldana as Uhura. Christopher Pike, who I forget who the actor is that plays him. But anyway, so you've got, in this movie, in the first movie, the first Star Trek, it was about like the origin story. So basically, if you knew about Star Trek, you already knew the story, and it was just kind of fun, and there's a lot of like kickbacks to the old ones. But in this new one, it's sort of, even though it's pretty much a remake of The Wrath of Khan, it's kind of a new story and you get to see everybody in action. So Kirk in the beginning is very, immature and he's just floating around. He's like, I got a starship. But by the end, he knows the value of a human life.
It sounds lame.
It is.
But it's good.
It's good, I promise. It's really good.
good.
And there's this great scene at the end. It's really, really emotional.
Oh, yeah. There's a few tears.
Yeah. When I went to see it like the third time, there was like a row of girls and like everybody was crying at the end. We were like, oh my God.
But there's a happy ending. So
Don't worry. Don't get tricked out.
Don't get tricked out.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do Social Network.
Oh, this is Caroline's movie.
This is my favorite ever, pretty much. So I'm going to take the beginning here.
Okay.
Social Network is the story of Facebook. Now, when I went to see this, I didn't have a Facebook, and I was mad at my mom for not allowing me to have a Facebook. This came out in 2009, so I was like 13, maybe like, whatever, doesn't matter. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so I was like, this isn't going to be good. I don't care about Facebook. I don't care about fraternities. It's a bunch of guys in college talking about Facebook. These are two things that I don't want to see a movie about. However, it's amazing. Who knew? You've got Aaron Sorkin writing the script, David Fincher directing. Aaron Sorkin is famous for The West Wing. It's the political show that's not on anymore. And David Fincher did Fight Club, Zodiac, Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, upcoming film Gone Girl that's going to be out next year, I think, or late into this year, whatever. It's so good. Jesse Eisenberg he was nominated for Best Actor. Probably should have won over Colin Firth, not even gonna lie. Andrew Garfield, before he was Spider-Man, he's really like skinny and not Spidey muscly in this one, if you care about that sort of thing. Who else is in it? What's her face from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? London Tipton.
Oh, yeah.
She's in it for like 5 minutes. But Justin Timberlake is also in this movie. He did a great job. He's a pretty decent actor, to be honest. Now, would you like to take this?
I saw it once a really long time ago at Caroline's house. It was interesting to find out the backstory of how like Facebook was made and like realize all the fights and stuff and all the drama. I think like no one really realized that because it kind of sounds like a boring movie, but then you watch it and you're like, whoa, this is what happened. So
that was a good take on it.
Yeah.
I think this might be the last one.
The last one?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, no, there's two more. Skyfall.
Skyfall.
In the Skyfall.
Well, that was a great song anyways at the beginning.
One of the greatest opening credit sequences of all time.
Yeah.
Up there with the girl in the dragon tattoo. Just plug in more Fincher movies.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was better than, I don't remember the name of the James Bond movie before it, but it was definitely better than that. That was so boring.
Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace. Yeah. It was not good. It was boring. I couldn't sit through it. This one was so good.
Even though it was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty long, but you didn't get bored with it. I'm trying to think what happened in it.
Well, I tend to go for the villains. I really like villains. This one had a spectacular villain. You got Javier Bardem, who has won Oscars before for No Country for Old Men. He's playing sort of this what's the company they work for? The ex-agent of the company.
Yeah.
It's like the British government, isn't it? Whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you got Judi Dench is the leader of the government, pretty much. The company.
Yeah.
And she keeps putting James Bond in danger. So in the very beginning of the movie, James Bond gets shot and is like sort of in retirement when Javier Bardem comes and starts messing everything up. So she calls him out of retirement.
Yeah, he was a good villain. There's some scary parts there.
Yeah, it's really good. There's 2 Bond girls, if you care about that sort of thing. And what else should we say?
The battle scene at the end is intense. Like, probably one of the best ones I've seen. It's pretty good.
There's a lot, if you've seen like all of the old ones, there's a lot of throwbacks to the old Bond movies, such as just naming a couple, the ejecting car seats and the pen.
Oh yeah, the pen.
The pen
yeah.
gun.
The pen.
And some catchy little one-liners there. Daniel Craig's a good Bond.
Yeah.
Our last film today is The Great Gatsby.
Ooh.
I'm going to have Sam take the beginning of this one.
Well, anyways, it was filmed really well. Like, the party scenes, everything was crazy. Like, you just wanted to be there kind of thing. Everyone some people got mad because they used rap music instead of jazz, but that's kind of the equivalent to what it is now. So I'm actually really happy they did that. Plus, like, you felt like you could be there. I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio is awesome. So
Leonardo DiCaprio is all you need.
Yeah, exactly.
He just won a Golden Globe the other day. I'm just throwing that out there. Not for Gatsby, I'm just saying. The book Gatsby was so good because it's about excess and the jazz age. That was what it was about, pretty much. Everybody was just going nuts, drinking everywhere, all sorts of too much wealth. You have just people who have so much money they don't even know what to do with themselves, so they're just awful people. Everyone's an awful person in Gatsby. Fun fact. So the reason it worked was because Fitzgerald's like prose, not to be too annoying when I say that, but it's really flowery and over the top because the story is over the top, and it's supposed to be sort of this melodrama, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, and sort of like, melodrama. And so if you're using the ridiculous shots and all of this money to make these sets and all of this special effects where you're zooming in from miles away and all this crazy stuff, it makes you feel like it's melodrama and it's excess, and that's exactly what the story is about, which is why it's a really, really good adaptation of it.
Yeah, it fit really well with the story too, like, because we obviously read it in English last year, and like everyone's excited to see it, and it really followed along well. And all like the costumes and makeup were so like well done. It just seemed like everyone wanted to be there, and everyone was talking about, I wish I lived in the 1920s and all that stuff. So I think that's kind of what this movie did. But
yeah, so I hope you enjoyed watching our show. We'll be back later, maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? There's always that.
You could tweet at LHS Film if you want to see more.